Hello and welcome back to the Orlando Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Russ, and today I'm absolutely delighted to have a wonderful guest returning to the pod. We've got the fantastic Jade from Timeforjade. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
As ever, it is my pleasure. And you know what? I wanted to get you back on for ages. And like, obviously, I know we did the Free Caballeros one, but we wanted to do a one-on-one kind of episode again because the first one was so much fun. And you know, we had a lot of fun chatting with Lee, but it's it's different dynamics. Lee's had 2 episodes on his own, so it was only fair, wasn't it?
Yeah, true. Throw another one in there, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So for anyone who might not know who you are, who maybe didn't listen to the first episode, who is Jade? What is Timeforjade?
Timeforjade is a Orlando-based Instagram, which I run myself. And I do mini vlogs and upload my favorite pictures. And I am thinking about vlogging because everyone's asked me, but we'll see what happens. I might vlog this coming trip that I'm going on in October, so possibly thinking about it.
We're all here for it, like genuinely. And I said this in the last episode that we did with Lee, but your mini vlogs were top tier. They were so good. Like honestly, every day I'd kind of like wake up in the morning, go straight to stories or go straight to your page and see your mini vlogs. I loved it. And if you did opt to go and do vlogs, you will get so much support from this amazing community. There is no doubt whatsoever. So
yeah,
no pressure, but do it.
I did really enjoy doing the mini vlogs, and I feel like it's a good way to ease yourself in, I think, to anyone that's thinking about it, to just record a couple of clips, put it together and see what you think, and then go from there. But I'll probably do it on my phone rather than getting a camera for it, because then there's no commitment then for me to do it. I could just
if you opt to do it, then you go for it. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Well, like I say, it's no pressure, but hopefully it happens.
No pressure, but pressure.
yeah, definitely. I want it to happen. All right, but if it doesn't, then fair enough. But yeah, amazing. Like obviously, loved your mini vlogs. Your content is brilliant, and I've said this a lot as well. But like your Instagram is so good. Your pictures are fantastic. You're so supportive of everyone. So from everyone, we appreciate you so much.
And I'm just going to throw that back at you, that your content is also amazing and we all love you. So we're all here to support you. And the vlogs are coming soon and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So
I'm buzzing to show everyone. I'm so excited for it. But anyway, less of us being nice to each other. Not saying we're now going to go and be horrible, but like getting into the episode, we decided we were going to do something a bit different. So we were going to go for a bit of a past, present, and future kind of style of episode. So I suppose if we're going to start, we might as well go all the way back to the very beginning. And when did you first go to Orlando then?
I first went to Orlando when I was 6, I believe. And my math isn't that good to try and figure out what year that was. But a long time ago. Somewhere in the early 2000s, I think.
Early 2000s. Yeah, nice. Cool. So you went like at an era when it was like classic Universal, like I can think of what it was like.
Yeah. When did you first go?
1999.
Oh, nice.
So similar time. Like at that point, you would have had studios open, you had IOA open, you'd have had all of the Disney parks open. So as far as we're concerned, those 6 parks have always been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I suppose what was it that kind of made you fall in love with going to Orlando all the way back then?
I would say definitely the weather. The weather is like top for me because I love the heat. And I know some people can't stand it, but I absolutely love it. And just everything, going into Walmart as a kid was even just as great as it is now, it was one of our favorite things to do. And it sounds so sad because I actually had my friend Sam here a couple of years ago, and I took her into Tesco and I said, "Does this give you the feels?" And she went, "No." She was like, "No, I don't understand what your obsession with Walmart is."
Yeah, it's
But
so weird though, isn't it? I don't know what it. I don't know what it is. I genuinely, I thought this yesterday. I got back from my trip a couple of days ago, and I went and did like a food shop the other day, and I walked in there and I thought, I hate being here. Like, I
yeah,
cannot stand doing a food shop in Tesco. However, if it said Walmart above the door and I went in there, I'd be loving it. It's probably because I'm buying actual proper food, not just like
mm,
Cheetos and and energy drinks.
yeah, true. You have to be an adult in Tesco, don't you? In
Yeah.
Walmart, you can be a child buying all your favorite things.
Yeah, it's a good shout there. I like that. I like that, especially the weather. Like the weather's like such a big factor, isn't it? Like
Mm.
obviously, I know it's a holiday destination, and when you think of holiday, you think of like warmer weather, and it's not difficult to be a lot warmer than it is in England. But like the weather in Orlando can be, it's like special, can it? I appreciate you get all sorts, and we can get the hard rain over there. Unfortunately, it can be cold over there, as I experience as well. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
good
gonna
shout.
say, but a rainstorm over there, just I don't know. I love it. I
Yeah,
absolutely love it. So
yeah.
UK
do, you,
sucks.
do you remember the first ride you ever went on?
I actually don't, but my dad did tell me it was Big Thunder Mountain, and
Nice.
he has a little story of how he was scared to take me on it because he didn't know what my reaction would be, and apparently I absolutely loved it. And he said that that's a very fond memory of his. So
No,
thank
nice,
you. Yeah,
nice. What a legend. That's, to be fair, that's quite a big ride to start on, isn't it? Like, I think of like
yeah,
more intense rides, especially in Magic Kingdom. Like,
mm,
that's certainly one of the more intense rides that there is, or there has been. So,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
I'll tell you though, my first proper roller coaster was Hulk, and I feel like that's a bit
yeah.
much. I was like 10, and I think that's
Yeah, I
like
mean that's big for a 10-year-old, surely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was tall though. I was a tall child, so I
So you were like
got
getting in a couple of years earlier than some of the other kids.
yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. You'll be like a thrill seeker from a young age.
Yeah, I was. I still am, to be fair, but yeah, I definitely was back then too.
Yeah, love that. The thing is, when I was writing these, I was trying to think of my first one as well, and I couldn't remember. I was like, I'm sure I will be able to. I was like, I had no idea. Like, absolutely no idea what the first ride I went on. But at the same time, I was 5, so why would I remember?
Yeah, true. What is the first ride that you remember going on then, even if it wasn't your first ride? What's the like first one you remember?
It's two that stick out in my mind. I don't know if they obviously were in the same park at the same time, but that I've talked about it a few times. There was the alien extraterrestrial encounter, which
Mm,
was like the sit down thing where the alien breaks free in the room and runs around, and the
yeah, I
lights all
remember
get
that.
turned off. Madness for a 5-year-old.
Quite
And
scary, actually.
yeah, that thing like that was not fun, not fun. And the other one was Splash Mountain. I remember that
Um,
so clearly. Yeah, loved it. Just remember like getting into school at 5 years old and singing Zippity Doo Dah.
No, I genuinely, I was a huge Splash Mountain fan because I don't obviously know the history in the background, but the ride itself was just so nostalgic for me as a child. I used to look forward to going on Splash Mountain.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, isn't it? It's sad, like not liking it. I mean, it's sad that it's not there. It's like
Yeah.
because what a ride, like so good. And I know I'm tangent. I'm jumping to Tiana's because I'm intrigued. But like, how did you find the theming from Tiana's compared to Splash Mountain? Did you like it, or did it not quite land with you?
To be completely honest, I need to go on it again because I couldn't see much because I stupidly didn't close my eyes or duck or anything going down the drops. And is it just me, or is there much more water than Splash Mountain? Because I got very wet, and most of it went into my eyes, into my mouth, into my nose, and I spent most of the ride with my eyes shut trying to wipe the water off. So I didn't catch most of it, to be completely honest. I did
Yeah,
enjoy the music though. The music was good, But
Quite
I
fun.
need to,
Quite fun. Yeah.
yeah, I need
To
to
be
go back
fair,
on it.
I obviously have just been on it, and I went into it obviously talking to you, and you were like make sure that you can actually see anything. You're gonna get soaked. I barely got a splash on me. Like I don't know what happened because I've watched a lot of vlogs. I've seen people come off it wet.
Yeah.
So I think I maybe just got super lucky, but
Where were you sitting on the boat?
sat at the back, I think. I think
Okay.
we were the back. Yeah.
Because I was at the front, and that may have had something to do with it. Because I
Right.
was literally right at the front.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. We'll
yeah,
have to both
but
be on it again.
I was going to say maybe they turned off like some of the water jets and stuff because of the colder weather. Do you think? Or
That's a good shout. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it would make sense. To be fair, I did ride it at about 9 o'clock at night. So maybe they opt to not have it kind of like quite as wet at that time of night.
yeah,
I don't know,
possibly.
maybe. Because to be
Yeah.
fair, that would have been fairly miserable, but you know. Cool. Well, that was a good tangent about Tiana's. So when you kind of went in like early 2000s, did you do both Disney and Universal? Or was it just
Yes.
Disney?
No,
Yeah.
it was both. Yeah.
Was that Islands as well?
Yes. I can't say I remember much from it, being completely honest. But I
Yeah.
do remember, was it Twister?
Twister was
Yeah.
you used to go and stand on like a wooden like a decked kind of area with like a balcony kind of set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cow.
It got a bit windy and then the cow blew across the front.
Yeah, I
And
remember the
that was
cow.
about what happened. Like genuinely, I've watched ride throughs of this for like previous episodes, and that is literally what happens.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But
Wild.
it's nostalgic, and I think they should bring something like that back.
Yeah.
Better.
We'll get in. I reckon we'll get into it. We'll get into it with the future. It's a good shout though. We'll bear it in mind because to be fair, like I know you're a big fan of the new film, so we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. I won't forget. But yeah, so obviously that was regards to kind of going to both Disney and Universal. You did all the parks. Were there any kind of like nostalgic rides that were like good memories? So stuff that isn't there any longer, but kind of stands out for you as true nostalgic rides?
A couple, I would say Jaws, definitely. And I know lots of people will agree with that because I have multiple conversations on Instagram about Jaws, genuinely.
Yeah.
And I used to make like my dad and brother sit either side of me because I genuinely thought it was real. Like when I was little, I genuinely thought there was a real shark and I was terrified. I would love to go on it as an adult.
Yeah.
Because it would be like a whole different experience.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like what a ride. And also like it's funny because I feel like that a little bit like Jungle Cruise. I know Jungle Cruise isn't everyone's favorite, but I feel like the skipper makes that ride.
Yeah.
Like depending on how into it they are and how like kind of over the top with it they are, like that just absolutely made it. And like Jaws, the same as you, like the memories of Jaws being just like terrified of it as well. Like, and it's ridiculous when you look back now. Like again, I've watched like ride throughs of it, and you see just this like this model shark just kind of pop its head out the water, and like I mean, 5-year-old Russ was absolutely like beside himself with fear.
Oh yeah.
And now I'll be looking at it like, what is that? Yeah.
I genuinely used to think as well that he was gonna like bite into the side of the boat and I'd get swallowed up and eaten. So I'm like, Dad, you can get swallowed up. I'll stay on the boat with my brother.
Because I'll be in the middle, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Dad's going first. See you, Dad.
Oh, amazing. Love it. So if you could bring back one Disney and one Universal retro ride then, or experience, ride or experience, what would it be and why?
I'm gonna say Jaws.
Yeah.
Because I remember loving it. And I'm actually a huge Jaws fan. This might come to a shock of some people, but I watch the movies regularly and Chief Brody is a legend. So I would bring that back. And I'd also bring back the Great Movie Ride or the original Fantasmic because I've forgotten her name now, Pocahontas. I missed that bit. The music and everything, it was like right in the feels for me. So I miss all those things. So that's what I'd bring back. What would you bring back?
I See, I did write Jaws, but then I was like, because I'm a total loser, I always try and think of something that's realistic that can actually happen. Because I'm like, well, they can't bring Jaws back because there's Diagon Alley there, so there's not going to happen.
Wait, could they bring it to the UK though?
Maybe. There you go. That's a shout. I like it. Yeah. So I went for, in Disney, I put the Alien Extraterrestrial one because I think as an adult, it would be hilarious. Like I can just imagine going on that with like, family and friends and it just being the funniest thing. Just seeing people's reactions and totally one of those things that like, I don't know, you make memories in Orlando of like, I think laughing about things together with like friends and family. And I feel like that ride especially is like absolutely it. Because I think everyone would be like bricking it. But the other thing I put Twister.
Nice.
But I with a caveat of it would be updated.
Yeah.
So like it certainly wouldn't be the old one, but at the same time, I would still probably have the old one over a couple of the rides in Universal at the moment. But I mean, surely, and I'm jumping to future at this point because it's in my head and I've gone on the tangent now. I reckon if they did it like a Twisters ride, surely that works where Fast and Furious is. We can justify the bus. They're not going to change the system realistically, are they?
We can justify the bus.
Yeah, but we can justify like the fact that they're not going to change the system, so they're going to stick with it as it is. But I think if you were on the bus, it's certainly more justifiable than being in a Fast and Furious film.
Yeah.
But if you could have like all of the kind of like wind and air effects around that kind of bus situation with the screens as well, I think it'd be wicked.
Yeah, it'd be terrifying. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, you saying that, like, do you remember? Of course, you remember, but Shrek and like the moving seats.
Yeah.
You know, in the end of Twisters, that like cinema was like getting ripped apart.
Yeah.
They could make that a ride though, and like they could have like the seats move, like a similar like technology to like maybe Rise of Resistance or something, where just like all the seats move.
Yeah,
and everyone's
that
like,
would be wicked. Where they were like kind of creeping forward and we're all sliding towards. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Universal, take my idea if you're listening.
Would take it with Jade's credit named as well. Like,
yeah, I want some money for it. I can't lie.
Yeah, yeah. Don't just nick it. But yeah, I mean, I mean, it'd be a shout. I think Twisters, like, I said it earlier, but I know that you loved the film. I think you saw it at the cinema. Was it 15 times?
5 times, close.
5 times.
It would have been 15 if I had the choice.
So you quite enjoyed the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like what film? I watched it on the plane off the back of your recommendation, and I loved it. I thought it was so good.
You're
like,
actually
genuinely. I was sad that I didn't see it at the cinema because I was like, because I wanted to see it at the cinema, but Annie didn't want to see it, so we didn't see it.
Let me tell you though, you missed out because in the cinema, I haven't watched it out of the cinema yet, surprisingly, but I haven't watched it out of the cinema yet, and it genuinely is so good. Like as an experience, like on the big screen, I think there's certain things you need to see at the cinema. You know what I mean? Like then things you can wait to watch it at home.
Yeah, completely agree. Big cinema advocate, so I back you on it. Yeah, great shout. Nice, cool. Well, should we move on to the kind of present day then? How have your trips changed then? So obviously, when you originally went back in early 2000s, you were very young. You are not quite as young at this point, so it's a slightly different trip.
I'm still getting ID'd, but yeah.
But yeah, so obviously, yeah, because we are adults at this point. How has your experience changed going now from when you used to go back then? So obviously, in terms of like changes, like I think of how my experience has changed, and basically the people I go with are different from who I originally used to go with. I used to just like go with my family, but I've gone with friends. I've gone with like Annie. I've gone with like my family and Annie. Like, so the group changes all the time, and I always find the dynamic changes. But like also I think that the appreciation of the parks, the rides, like the food, actually Orlando itself, for me, has definitely changed because I see Orlando now, and I actually appreciate it for what it is, opposed to just being Disney World. So I mean, so
Yeah.
is that similar for yourself? Is it?
Yeah, definitely. And like discovering new things like celebration. I talk about celebration all the time, but it's things like that. And if you have a car, you can experience so much more than just the parks as well. Because like Dad was saying, oh, maybe we won't hire a car this time, but then we'd kind of be like a bit restricted because Uber's is like, you'd have to get an Uber from here to here to here, and you can't stop off on the way and experience new things. So I feel like the dynamic of my trip has changed massively with who I go with and what I do.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Do you feel like you approach the parks differently?
Yes, I try to.
Yeah,
I try to. I get a bit carried away because I get itchy feet, and I always say every time before I go on a trip, I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna try and relax and like take in everything else. Then I get to Magic Kingdom like well before rope drop, and I'm like, right, I'm going here, 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 and before I know it, the day's gone, and all I've done is scurry around Magic Kingdom, trying to fit in as much as I can. So I do try.
yeah.
I feel like I can't stop myself sometimes. You
That's
wait
good
for
though.
the trip, don't you? And then when it comes around, you're like, right, I want to make sure I'm getting everything done that I've been like
Yeah,
looking forward to. But towards the end, I think you slow down a little bit naturally, don't you? But
yeah. Definitely the first. I mean, the first time you go in every park, like on a trip, if you're doing a slightly longer trip, the first day you do in every park is always like madness.
yeah,
Because you're thinking of all the highlights of stuff that you want to do, you've done on previous trips, and like you said with Magic Kingdom, I'm sure that you're like Haunted Mansion straight there,
all the
like
time.
on and then it's on to the next thing, and then it's on to the next thing. And to be fair, like some parks there's loads of stuff to do. I think of like Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, or Islands of Adventure. There's quite a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah,
Obviously, something like Epcot, I think is probably slightly different, and I think that's a park that's approached slightly differently.
yeah,
But yeah,
I agree. And
yeah,
I feel like as well, I remind myself to eat these days because, like, when I was younger, I would skip meals and just carry on. But I do take the time out to make sure I eat something now. So
yeah. It's a good idea, because otherwise, like we're doing a lot of steps. We're doing a lot of steps. You got to stay hydrated. You got to
yeah,
like
yeah,
you got to look after yourself, because otherwise, that there is nothing worse than like crashing at the end of a day, or not even at the end of the day, like kind of in the afternoon, because then you just feel like you're wasting your day a bit. You're like, I've got to go back to the hotel or whatever.
yeah.
So look after yourself, and if you can take it chilled, then go for it. But I mean, I'm not a good example of that, so I'm not going to start saying that's the way to do it.
We tell everyone to chill. We're not going to, but everyone else should,
Yeah,
realistically.
yeah. Apparently I'm the guy who's prepared to go and stand in 3 hour queues for everything.
Yeah,
So yeah,
respect.
I'm just an absolute lunatic, I think. Anyway, with regards to kind of like where you stay in Orlando when you go nowadays, do you go to the same places in terms of like hotels, villas, resorts, or do you switch it up every trip?
Yes, I do switch it up every trip. We tend to do apartments or villas. And I don't think I've ever stayed in the same place twice. I feel like Dad's going to be listening to this being like, yes, we have. But from from
Right,
my
please.
recollection, 4 times, yeah. Because I don't know if anyone knows, but genuinely, I have gone pretty much every year since I was 6, apart from COVID. So Dad's probably listening, thinking, "Come on, Jade." Dad, I think usually just rented a villa, like a bit like Airbnb, just like you select a villa and then pay for the flights separately.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a whole stay on Disney this time because I've only ever stayed at Disney for like what 3 nights. So I'm
No.
looking forward to a whole resort stay. But I've never stayed in like a hotel for the whole trip ever.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do like a bit of space, but
Yeah, to be fair, that's nice. The nice thing about the villa, though, isn't it? That just having like a bit more room. I appreciate that sometimes they're a little bit further away from the parks and stuff, but like if you're happy with like the drive and like being in the car, then it's all
yeah,
good. And like ultimately, it takes time anywhere in Orlando to get anywhere. So it doesn't matter whether or not you're using like, you know, Disney transportation, Universal transportation, or the car. Everything takes time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, like, I feel like stopping off at Cane's, stopping off at Starbucks, you know, you can have a bit more freedom, which is nice. But I appreciate not everyone wants to drive out there because it can be quite daunting with the bigger roads and things. But
yeah.
yeah.
Have you got like any dream resorts that you want to go to and that you want to stay at?
Yeah, my dream resort is actually French Quarter, which is where we're staying this trip.
Amazing.
Like, yeah, I
Oh,
finally made it happen. So yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait. I want to go to New Orleans, like actually go there
Yeah.
as well at some point, whenever that happens.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure it will. Amazing. Cool. So is there any Universal hotels that you would try and stay at as well?
Lowe's Royal Pacific.
Nice.
I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and the theming. Because I feel like the two tower hotels would be cool, right? If you had like a good view, but if you have a view of the parking lot, it wouldn't be as cool, I don't think. So I'd wanna stay in one of the. Are they like deluxe or something?
I was going to say this is one of the ones where if you book it, you can basically get the express passes because it's a deluxe resort or something like that. Sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a good reason to go there. It as much as anything. But yeah, like it looks lovely. To be fair, a lot of the Universal ones do. I don't know if you've looked at Helios, the new one in Epic Universe, but like have a little look. Like check it out, genuinely.
I will check it out, yes.
Because that looks unreal. It's in the park, which is wild. Like open your curtains in the morning and literally the park is there. That's yeah.
It's like Disneyland Paris though, isn't it? Because that's what the Disneyland park is.
Yeah.
You have like your own entrance into the park because you're just in it basically.
Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of it. I think that'd be cool. That'd be cool. We can dream, you know.
You'll do it. You'll get invited out, Russ. Just you wait.
Oh, I don't know.
Wait. You will. I can feel it.
Do you still do like all the same theme parks as what you used to do when you originally went? Obviously, you did, like you said, you did all of the parks back then. But like, did you do like SeaWorld and Busch Gardens back then? Do you do them now? What's the situation with those two?
Yeah, we did do all the parks when I was younger, which is wild to think in 2 weeks, isn't it? Yeah, like Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, Universal, all of Disney.
A lot, isn't it?
Parks. Genuinely, yeah. But then we sort of whittled it down a little bit, and I haven't been to Busch Gardens for, oh God, I can't remember when I last went, but I haven't been for years and years and years. We were actually meant to go on this trip, but we just lost track of time. It was just one of those things, like we had so much going on, so much to do. But yeah, I just tend to do Disney and Universal now, really to keep the cost down a little bit.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But like this is it though, isn't there? Like there's so much to do and that you can do in all of the parks. They're like, you know, there's multiple days out of each park nowadays.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do. And like, you know, that whether it's going in the daytime, whether it's going at night, like, you know, you might just want to go and revisit it because you love the parks, you want to go and experience it again. Like,
yeah.
And you do that amongst 6 parks. I mean, you know, if you chuck water parks and stuff like that into it as well, and then Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, like, I mean, it's mega. There's so many. But next opportunity you get, Busch Gardens for Thrill Seeker Jade needs to happen.
I know. I was so looking forward to She-Ra and Falcon's Fury.
Yeah.
We actually had a conversation about Falcon's Fury, didn't we? And I just I'm sad I didn't get to go on it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Next time.
Again, next time, maybe see if you can find the time. If not, there's always another trip. There's always another trip. That's the good thing. And like kind of going from that, kind of being an adult, like being an adult, being an adult now. Do you find that the focus isn't as heavy to rides as what it was kind of like in previous years, or are you still the same Jade who's running from ride to ride?
Probably the first few days, yeah. But I do feel like there's just so much more to the parks than just the rides. Like I could happily sit in like Frontierland on a bench and just listen to the music and watch everyone go by. Like it's actually one of my favorite things to do. And my great friend Maria, if you're listening, Maria, she takes me around World Showcase drinking and eating. And I am not even ashamed to say that I had never done that before until 2023. So
Yeah.
she's taken me 2 years in a row now, and I think it's like our little tradition. But I actually love it. It's actually great fun.
Oh, amazing. Love that. And
Yeah.
like, but also, like you said, it's a different experience though, isn't it? And like,
Yeah.
because to be fair, I don't think there's certainly no shame in it. I think there's a lot of people who've done Epcot but have never done that. And
Yeah.
like, because Epcot, it's a big park, but until you kind of like know how to do Epcot or like know how to do it that way, I just don't think it's like really at the forefront of people's minds to
No,
kind of do the
I
eating and
agree.
drinking around the world. But when you do it, I think there's an appreciation for like a completely different side of Epcot, isn't there?
Yeah. And yeah, I don't necessarily drink the alcoholic beverages because, well, one, because I don't have my ID with me, because taking like your passport into Epcot is not a vibe. And Maria has actually bought a couple of drinks for me on occasions. But also the fact that I think alcohol and the heat doesn't always mix. So it's important to stay on top of your hydration, because I know so many people that have been like, oh, I got so dehydrated and it ruined 2 days of my trip. And I'm like, no. So yeah, I
No,
don't.
that's
It's
not,
not worth it.
like, definitely not. I know it's probably a laugh at the time.
Yeah.
I feel like we said this in the first episode. I might be wrong, but like genuinely, I think waking up the next day and you're like planning on rope drop in a park and you've got a stinking hangover. I
Yeah.
can't think of anything worse. Like,
No, I know.
feels like early enough getting up as it is. Like,
2 weeks Orlando, you're hungover anyway.
yeah. Oh, amazing.
But yeah, just save drinking until you're at home,
Yeah, yeah.
Don't go on holiday and get smashed because it's too much
By
to
all
do.
means, like have a margarita, but just
Or three.
don't yeah, I'm just gonna say just don't have too many of them and make sure that you do hydrate in between them. So you're getting
Yeah.
all the tips and tricks in this episode, aren't we?
But I was going to say though, like
Go
for
on.
you, excluding like your vlogging though, do you think that you do different trips now as well?
Definitely. I mean, it's a weird one because I like when I used to go with my family, it was very much like we would do a bit of everything. That's why I've got a bit of a love for like Orlando outside the parks. We always used to do like things like the airboat. We go to different places. We do things like Kennedy Space Center. So like we would always do different activities outside of like the Disney and Universal bubble.
Yeah.
And then I went with two of my friends a couple of years in a row, and all three of us were like so into roller coasters. So for 2 weeks we did like Universal Islands of Adventure, like flat out with SeaWorld and Busch Gardens in there as well, and then like loads of other stuff. So like our trips were very different. We were flat out, we wouldn't stop for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the most recent trip I've just done is different again, because obviously the time of year that like myself and Annie went, like kind of made queue times very different. So again, we had a very different experience, but we were only in, I mean, essentially we were only really in the Disney bubble. We
Yeah.
kind of like, it was the first time I'd stayed on site, so my experience was very different to what it had been even in the trip that we did in 2023.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I love. I love that about you. Like, I love that about Orlando and Disney and Universal, that like it's ever changing. So there's always going to be stuff to do, and there's always going to be different stuff and a different approach to it as well.
Yeah. I was going to
Right.
say, when people say, oh, do you ever get bored of going? It's like every single trip is different. It's a whole different experience, and you learn new things and you get to experience new things and never get bored
Yeah.
ever.
And I think that's a good thing about like things like vlogs, because some people like will find things, or like not necessarily even looking for stuff, but like they'll experience something and we might watch it and go, oh, that looks cool, and then on our next trip we might like incorporate that, whether it's food, like somewhere to go, something to see, into
Yeah.
our trip, which then like when you're kind of taking in all of this content from Instagram, podcasts and YouTube, like there's so much out there for us to kind of like access
Yeah.
nowadays. Yeah, I think it's amazing.
I agree.
I love it. I love it. I love watching a vlog, as we know. So I put the next question I kind of wrote down was what does a perfect day look like for you in Orlando then?
A perfect day in Orlando for me would be staying at the Polynesian. Can I add like a stay, like a hotel stay? Is that
You
allowed?
can this your day, Jade, so you go for it.
Okay, I feel like I'd need multiple days because this is just not gonna work. Okay, a day would be staying in the Polynesian, and then I'd probably wake up at the Polynesian, and then I'd go to the Magic Kingdom for coffee, obviously, because that's what I do every single trip. Probably ride some rides, then go back to the hotel, chill out at the pool for a little bit, maybe. I feel like the deluxe resort pools underrated. I feel like they're absolutely brilliant. Like, I just want to throw that out there for anyone that's thinking of staying in a deluxe. And then I'd probably go to Epcot in the evening, watch the fireworks, have a little bit of food, a little bit of bevies, and then probably end the day checking into Bay Lake Tower with theme park view. To be honest,
Nice.
that's what I'd do.
You've somehow managed to blag 2 hotels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
love it.
I love them all. What is your dream day?
My dream day. Our dream days are very different, which is
Velocipaster.
interesting. So I start the day. To be fair, I didn't actually write down where I would stay, but we all know I'm a very big fan of Animal Kingdom Lodge. So it's my home now, having stayed there for one whole night. I would actually go off site from a breakfast. I would like to go for a Kiki's. I don't know if you've been to Kiki's.
Oh my god! See, I didn't think this in depth.
Yeah,
You're now like opening up my eyes, to different things, because I didn't throw canes in there.
But
Or
you
chicken
can.
guy.
I was kind of counting on you doing it. But anyway, I would go to Kiki's for breakfast, so I'd be absolutely stuffed, and then I'd head to Hollywood Studios. I would probably do Rise of Resistance, Tower of Terror.
Right.
I'd like to watch the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular
Okay, good.
with a funnel cake.
Yeah,
I would probably go and watch the Frozen sing-along show
of course you would. Yeah.
because I loved it so much. Just have a bit of a chill around Hollywood Studios with a Starbucks, something like that. And then kind of like later in the day when it's getting a bit dark, I'm heading to Islands of Adventure. As we all know, now it's got a bit dark. Velocicoaster, Hagrid's. I'd probably do Hulk. And I've got to finish the day with Doctor Do, haven't I?
Oh, obviously, yeah.
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 I mean,
Then
it's got to be
heading
done.
back to Animal Kingdom Lodge, are you?
Before I do that, I'm going to head to Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cheesecake
Nice.
Factory. Go and get my cheesecake to go. Because inevitably I'm not going to be able to move. And then back to Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's my perfect day. That would be so good. Yeah.
Wait, so like you'd have your slice of cheesecake in bed at Animal Kingdom Lodge?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know it. Don't get better than that. Doctor Doom is the final ride of the day. Facing out over the park. Inevitably, it'll be facing the car park or something. But
No, it's your day. You pick where you are. It's your
I
day.
will tell them where I'm going. This is my day.
You know who I am.
Would you like to amend your day?
No, it's fine. But I'm mentally adding in probably Chicken Guy or Olive Garden. Did you have dessert at Olive Garden? Going like off track?
No.
No, I've never had one.
I don't know if I have. I don't know. To be fair, I don't normally get desserts at like Orlando restaurants. Mainly because I'm so full up.
Yeah.
And like to be fair, in Olive Garden, like they give you the breadsticks, they give you the soup or the salad. So like I'm already stuffed by the time my main comes out. And then I've got this terrible thing where like I mean it's good because I don't like food waste. So when something comes out, I have to eat all of it. Yeah.
That's the thing, they keep bringing you more breadsticks, though, don't they? I see you're a soup guy, though. I'm a salad girl. The salad is incredible.
To be fair, the salad it is banging. As a salad goes, it's top 10. Yeah, good shout. We've done the past, we've done the present, so we are going to head to the future. So this is where we begin to speculate and we can say what we think is going to happen or comment on stuff that has already been announced to happen. Which updates that have been announced are you kind of most looking forward to This can be anything. This can be like restaurants, rides, shows, parks, you name it. Anything.
I am really looking forward to the villains area.
Yeah.
I do. I think about it a lot and I get excited about it a lot because I love the villains like so much. And I love Halloween and all of the spooky stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think they're going to do so well with it.
Yeah. What villains do you think they'll kind of use as like the focal point?
Probably Hades and Ursula, I get a feeling. But if it was down to me, it'd be Jafar and Ursula. I love Ursula. She is a queen. And Gaston.
Gaston would be a shout. I mean, that'd be cool. Yeah, nice. Cool. Any other stuff that you're looking forward to in particular? Mainly just the Villains Land?
Super Nintendo World as well. I'm looking forward to. But I'll be honest, I don't know much about Epic and I need to do some research. So
to be fair, it's not a bad thing though, because like at the same time, if you don't know a lot about it, when you go, it'll all feel like a huge surprise.
True.
So, I mean, obviously, the problem is, unless you go next year at some point next year, we're in 2025 now. This year,
yeah.
Unless you go this year, everyone's going to be putting it on the blogs from like the end of May onwards. So,
Yeah.
To be fair, I will try and avoid seeing Epic Universe, I think, until I go.
Okay.
Because I want to experience it with my own eyes for the first time. Like, I feel like that's the best way to experience anything. I appreciate people aren't going to be like recording on rides and stuff, but in and around the park, I just feel like some of the surprises like will be lost a little bit if you've just like been watching videos on it for months.
Yeah, I feel like I probably will watch videos on it, but because I feel like even when you look back at your own pictures, like Haunted Mansion, for an example, and this is going to sound a bit nerdy, but like looking back at my pictures and then like standing in the stretching room, everything's like so much brighter. And like it's always brighter than you remember, even seeing it on vlogs. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like wow. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird.
I know what you mean though. Like it's so much. It's just obviously it's better for your own eyes. Like and just seeing anything in person is just like so much more spectacular than just like seeing it on a video. And like obviously it's amazing, and being able to like experience stuff through vlogs and stuff is brilliant. But like nothing will ever beat doing it yourself.
No, I agree.
Yeah, nice. So, but Villains Land, and
what are you most looking forward to?
Me, obviously, like Epic Universes is like the obvious, but like in terms of like stuff that's fairly immediate that's been announced, I'm actually a little bit excited for Test Track.
Oh yeah,
which sounds totally ridiculous because it's a ride that I've basically bashed for about a year.
I mean, no one can blame you for that. The old Test Track was elite. So
yeah, so like and I'm just intrigued to see if they can bring back some of that, like if they can bring it back to kind of what certainly what I used to think it felt like. I feel like it's definitely, having experienced Epcot within the past week, I feel like that park is really missing something like that. I feel like it lacks a little bit of something, if I'm being absolutely real. So I'm excited for that. I'm genuinely excited for that. And the other thing, this might upset a few people, but I'm excited for Indiana Jones to replace Dinosaur.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Against that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I like Indiana Jones, but I feel like that area, like I know that a lot of people find a lot of nostalgia to it and stuff, but for me, like I think it needs a change. I think it does need an update, and I think that hopefully this Indiana Jones ride will be unique compared to like, because there's obviously other versions of it around the world and stuff, but hopefully it is a unique version of it. So that's where I go. That's what I'm probably most looking forward to myself.
Good choices.
If we were to like speculate, I suppose in the next like 5 years, is there anything that like you could see happening in Orlando at all? Is there anything like you would want to happen or think is realistic to actually kind of transpire?
I think that most of us will be taking one short day to Emerald City.
Amazing.
And I can't wait. I agree with everything you said in the last pod that you did about it. Because you mentioned Wicked, didn't you? You think that's going to come to the parks.
Yeah.
And I agree. And Lee doesn't agree. Lee thinks that they're not going to announce anything. I think they're definitely going to do it whether they announce it or not. It's going to 100% happen.
I mean, it's got, like, let's get into it. It's got to happen because, I mean, that, I think of like that tribute store, the Wicked one, that space is massive. And I know that like you haven't been there and seen it, but like I'll tell you, it's amazing. Like, and if you're a fan of the films, amazing. But like for them to have something that big and pushing that film that hard, to me suggests that they're going to back it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to back it with that, then I feel like off the back of how well the film has done, you've got to move. You've got to do it. And I don't know about you. Where do you, if they did Emerald City or they did Shiz University or whatever they did, where can you see it going? Like which park for a start?
I feel like they definitely do Emerald City and Studios, because I do think that Studios needs a little bit of help. And I know some people disagree with that, but I think once Epic opens, you've still got like Velocicoaster and Hagrid's Islands of Adventure, but at Studios, there's not a lot going on other than Horror Nights.
Yeah.
So I do think that it needs a little bit of help. So I feel like that's where they'd put it, and they'd probably put it where Simpsons and SpongeBob is.
Yeah.
Right?
I can, to be fair, like it would make sense. It would make sense for it to be there. I can't remember where I've said this before. I know that we've certainly had this conversation, but like I personally would put it where Fear Factor is.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I know that this is proper controversial, but I'd probably lose Men in Black for it. I'd have it at the whole of the back of the park, and I'd basically have that as like the backdrop when you walk in.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, let's be real, like Diagon Alley's amazing, but it is hidden. So it's not like it's amazing once you've walked in there, but it's not like, I think of like the icons of a lot of parks where you kind of walk in, there's the big reveal, and Studios doesn't really have that, in my opinion. And I feel like if you had like the Emerald City at the back of the park, I feel like that would be stunning.
Yeah.
And a really cool thing to have. Whereas kind of like in Simpsons, I feel like it's very out of the way. It's kind of, you've got to turn right, you can't really see it, like, because there's a massive block that is Transformers, I'm pretty sure, is in the way. So like I feel like having it at the back of the park would be really cool, in my opinion. But if they were to do it, what kind of ride do you think you would bring? Is there anything you can think that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I do think that I think it'd be really cool if they did like an Emerald City and a Shiz and a train, like they've done with Harry Potter.
Yeah,
but I know they probably
cool.
wouldn't do that because it'd be quite samey, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think there's that issue, isn't there, of it feeling similar.
Do you think though that they could do both in one park and still do like a little train to it, but like opposite end? Maybe if they like closed, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the logistics, but maybe they could do it all in the same park with the train, but just like opposite ends of the park, maybe. Or do you think that'd be too much?
I would love to see it. I don't know whether or not it would happen, but I'd love to see it. I think it'd be wicked.
You think it'd be wicked?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. An unintentional pun. I tell you what, the one thing that worries me, if I'm absolutely honest, I'm worried that they're going to put Wicked where Fast and Furious is. I honestly, if they turn that bus into the train to Emerald City, I am going to be so disappointed.
Yeah,
I can see it happening. It feels so universal to do it, and because they love retheming. That's one thing that they've done for years. They love to retheme. They like to retheme at least once or twice before they replace. So I can kind of see them doing that. I wouldn't back it by any means, but that does worry me. But then the reason why I say that is because Fast and Furious, I feel like is dead in the water.
Oh yeah.
And then they announced, I think it was last week, they announced that Rip Ride Rocket is closing. So that's closing, I think, in September. And there's a lot of rumors that basically that's going to get knocked down, and then that's going to become the Fast and Furious like drift ride that's going to California. There's
Okay.
a lot of talk of it being that, because they're obviously going to lose a coaster, so I can't see them basically wanting to lose a big coaster out of the park.
Yeah.
Which means that Fast and Furious inevitably Supercharged is going to go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it a cop out? Is it an easy thing for them to do, to go, you know what, we might be able to kind of shoehorn Wicked into that area? I hope they don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think they would make it into something else though? Because I do think the Wicked's too big, and they know that Wicked's too big.
Yeah, it's tough though, because like I love Wicked, don't get me wrong, but Wicked's not bigger than Fast and Furious.
No, but
So
I mean, like,
this is tough. Do you know what I mean? Like, so in terms of like an IP,
yeah,
yeah,
in terms of what it is, but I think Wicked, like the
current popularity,
yeah, and
momentum behind it, yeah.
also I think they're going to want to do something big though, aren't they? As in,
Yeah, like actually in terms of like actual physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that the Springfield area is certainly big enough by all means to do it. So it's potentially a chance, but like I think definitely it's got to be one of those. There's got to be a ride surely of like flying with Alphabet some way or another. Surely there's got to be, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would make a great roller coaster though.
Yeah. I mean,
Like if you wanted.
That's the other argument, isn't it? To retheme Hulk over in Iowa to Alphaba of some sort.
I'd be kind of mad if they did that though.
I'm just full throwing speculation. Yeah, I completely agree though. Like, but ultimately, I would be so surprised if Wicked doesn't get announced this year. I mean, it would amaze me, because I really think that like you said, Universal needs something. So it needs just a little injection of something into that part, and I feel like it's got to be done fairly soon.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, as well, they would have backing from the cast as well, because I know sometimes like Disney have issues when they've had someone feature in a movie and they don't back it. But Ariana Grande was obviously born and raised in Florida, I think, wasn't she? And she loves the theme parks, so she would back it all the way, wouldn't she? She'd be like well in there.
Yeah, it would be amazing if, like, you know, I love it when you get like the cast of the ride, kind of the film in the ride. I think that's great. And I mean, I appreciate that there's the cast of the ride in Fast and Furious. So it's not a good example.
Not all of them though. Who's that guy that's like completely CGI? Ludicrous. That's not actually Ludicrous. That's literally AI.
I'm thinking of the video at the start.
Yeah, Ludicrous is literally AI. He's not featured.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. Literally 100% sure. I swear. They did not hire him. Yeah, I'm so sure.
I'm pretty sure he was at the opening of the ride.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he was.
Oh my god, he's literally AI. Let me hang on.
I'm fairly sure I remember it was Vin Diesel. It was Jordana Brewster. Is that who plays Mia? It was Tyrese, Ludacris, and Michelle Rodriguez. I'm sure it was the five of them did like the opening.
I mean, he was there. He was there, but the video of him.
But he's not in the ride.
No, genuinely, the video of him is not real.
You googling it?
I am. I swear to God, because I remember looking like at the screen and being like, that doesn't look like Ludacris. Like, it looks off. And the cast member was like, oh yeah, like that's not him. I literally remember like the whole thing. I went on Fast and Furious the year it opened. Hang on.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, last time I went on it was 2023. I don't know. You might be right, by the way. Like, I'm not telling you you're wrong.
You're not going on this trip. It's your favorite ride in Orlando.
I don't. I tell you why. I tell you why we didn't go on it. It was a 50-minute queue.
That's amazing. That's really good for that ride. Isn't it usually like 3 hours?
E.T. was a 60-minute queue. Well, I tell you what. You wanted tangents. We've gone off on a tangent.
We have.
I'm gonna have to do so much editing.
I'm sure it's just because he couldn't like be there or something. Because it's his voice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose that would make sense.
But like the video literally looks like he was made out of Play-Doh. Like it doesn't look real.
I don't remember this. I'm gonna go watch a ride through of it in a bit.
Like he looks like AI, like something's off. Like, are you okay, hun? It's just not him. Okay, a good way to describe it is like, GTA.
Yeah,
He looks like a cartoon version of himself, GTA. So like his mouth's moving and his eyes are blinking and everything, but it's just not him. Like he didn't physically do it.
yeah.
It's his voice though. Yeah, I just remember it looking super weird. So I asked the cast member and he was like, it's not even a cast member, is it? What are they called in Universal? Team member?
Team member. Anyway, I'm gonna watch it in a bit.
I haven't even found it, but I will find it for you in a bit.
Oh, nice. That'll be some good afternoon watching. But anyway, right. So after that tangent of Fast and Furious, yeah. I mean, like, just to round off the Wicked conversation, like, I'm here for it. I know you are, big fan, and like, if we could get it in that park, I feel like it's what Universal Studios as a park needs. I feel like it
I
needs
agree.
that injection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And I suppose going from Universal then to Disney, what do you
Mhm.
think in the next 5 years are the odds of them announcing a fifth gate? Think there's any chance of it happening?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they probably would if Universal announced a fourth part. But I know that Disney still know that they've got the upper hand on everything because even with this new park opening, Universal haven't they like told everyone they can only have like one day in the park or something to keep numbers down and make it fair, which I think's an odd move because people are surely just going to buy a day ticket for Epic and then skip Universal.
You'd assume so. Like, let's be real. If you're going to skip a park, I think more people are going to skip Universal over IOA
Yeah.
because Islands has got Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, and I think like those two, like you said earlier, kind of they hold that park up a lot.
Mm.
Whereas Studios doesn't have that as much. I appreciate it's got the nostalgia factor, but like there aren't the strongest of IPs in there to warrant doing it over some other stuff, in my opinion, right now. So
I think it's gonna cause like what's the right word? Like people are either gonna go to Orlando and go to Disney or go to Orlando and go to Universal now because I feel like the 6 parks is quite manageable, especially if you go with a family. But adding a new park that you can only access once on your trip, I think is a little bit of a put off for some people. So I
yeah,
feel like people will just revert back to Disney naturally because there's no terms and conditions on visiting their parks. Do you know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah. I do agree. I understand why they've done it. Like
yeah,
I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it because at the same time, like if they because it's going to be busy. There's no
yeah,
doubt. It's a new park. It's gonna be madly busy. And if it's so busy that it just becomes a horrible experience, then that's all people are ever going to remember. You're going to
yeah,
remember that first time you went, and you remember when it was 4 hour queues on every ride. Like
yeah.
it's just not the experience that Universal want to give out. So I do get it to an extent. I think it's a bit odd,
Mm,
like only giving you the option of one day. I think that is odd. Like ultimately it's up to us. If we want to go and spend our money to go and do it, then we should be able to go and do it. But I appreciate that they're clearly confident of how busy it's going to be.
yeah, which is great for them.
Mm,
But I think at the same time, people don't like planning out their holiday as it is to a T. And I feel like planning your holiday around which day you do Epic Universe is going to be quite hard.
yeah, yeah, agreed. I mean, it seems that that's only going to be the case for this year, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in 26. I think that ultimately they'll have to just gauge what the crowd levels are like. And I think
Yeah.
if the crowd levels are just crazy, then maybe you got to implement something. And I'm fairly surprised they haven't gone for like a virtual queue, but maybe they have. We just don't
Mm.
know about it. Because I think of like
Another problem I
go on.
have though is like that one day that you go, and if they're having like a bad day and a couple of rides are down, you won't get to experience it.
Yeah,
So that's another thing. Maybe they should do like 2 days, 14 day ticket holders.
yeah,
But like that's
yeah.
more fair.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because you would be gutted if you'd gone all the way to Orlando, planning to go on whatever, like the Ministry of Magic ride,
Yeah.
and then you get there and it's shut,
Hmm.
and you're tied into that's your only day. You'd be annoyed, wouldn't you? So yeah, difficult. It's a difficult one, but
Yeah.
I think ultimately this year, Epic will be carnage. Next year, I think, is when it will probably become enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
I think most people will skip this year.
yeah,
People going from the UK, I mean, will probably
yeah,
skip.
yeah. Agreed. Cool.
Mm.
But you like with regards to getting back to the fifth gate kind of idea, you
Hmm.
don't really see Disney doing it at
I
the
don't.
moment.
I don't think so for the moment. I think they've still got the upper hand on the theme parks, and
Yeah, massively.
because I know lots of people that skip Universal because they're like, oh, it's expensive enough as it is. But I don't really know anyone that skips Disney, because people that won't buy the 14-day tickets, they still go for a couple of days to each park. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I feel like Disney have still got the upper hand, and they've got something for everyone and the kids, and you could easily spend your whole holiday at Disney, but I don't know if you could spend your whole holiday at Universal if you only had kids.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think from like a ride height point of view and stuff like that, like obviously Disney is way more catered for it with regards
Yeah,
to like that's why things like Peter Pan's Flight and like Seven Dwarfs have always got like big queues,
yeah,
like no ride restrictions. So yeah, it's a good one. It's one to think about, isn't it? And you know, will we get a fifth gate? I'm sure at some point it will happen,
yeah, yeah,
like inevitably, because realistically, it's been a while since Disney did a new park in Orlando, and clearly their parks are very busy still. So they could probably warrant it, but it still comes at cost. They might look at it and
yeah,
go, we don't actually need it.
yeah,
Like we don't need to do it. I personally, I think that the only way that it happens soon is if they get the rights for Marvel back in Orlando. They get
yeah,
the rights for Marvel, I think they go and do it straight away. Like I don't think there's any question because I don't see anywhere in Orlando at the moment that there's space to go and put a Marvel area.
yeah. I agree. I think if Disney were going to open a fifth gate, it will probably be in like 5 years' time, because I don't think they'd announce all these expansions and new things happening and then open a fifth park on top of it. I think
Yeah,
pretty set for now.
yeah, yeah. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. Do you see any specific updates coming for like Universal and Islands of Adventure beyond Wicked?
Oh, other than Wicked, no, do you?
I mean, I think there's loads of stuff that they'll do. I think like we know that Simpsons is going. I think there's a lot of talk of Pokemon going in there at some point into one of the parks. I think it's probably going to happen. I think they've obviously got a relationship with Nintendo, which they're pretty strong with, so I can see them doing that. There's the big question of like, does Marvel Superhero Island stay and for how long? Like
Yeah, how long's left like on my contract? Do you know?
it in it like forever. So until Marvel pay until Disney pay the money to
Yeah.
Universal to get the rights back, they can keep it in the park as long as they want.
Okay, fair. Yeah, so I was gonna say, because obviously it's like the split between California and Disney World, isn't it?
It's the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I found out when I did the research on that episode. But yeah, so you got that. But then there is other updates that can be done. I said about like the Fear Factor area. Like it's a massive area that's got nothing in it. You've
Hmm.
got rides such as like Men in Black, which let's be real, it's quite old. So does it need an update? Probably at some point. We've
Yeah.
talked about Fast and Furious. We talked about Rip Ride Rocket closing. Like so, there's a lot of stuff, and that's not even getting into like Lost Continent in
Hmm.
Islands of Adventure. Like so, there's so much space in those parks that they could and probably will do stuff. It's just in what order they opt to actually do it. So
I would like to see them do something to Zeus Landing. I
just
feel
like
like,
knock it down or something.
yeah, the whole lot.
Mainly Cat in the Hat.
Mainly can. Honestly, I just feel like they could do so much with that area. And I remember that area being there when I was a child.
Yeah.
And it hasn't changed a bit, has it? Like, there's been no updates, nothing new.
Yeah.
It's just same old, same old.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. But yeah, there's a lot they can do. And, you know, ultimately it's exciting because hopefully whatever they do opt to do, it will be good. Like, you know, the last couple of coasters they've done have been fantastic. Epic looks amazing. There was obviously the Fast and Furious and the Kong kind of situations, but you know, there's hope that, you know, potentially Universal can. I think Universal Studios itself can come back quite strong as a park,
Yeah,
but time will tell. Hopefully this
I
year
agree.
we'll get a better idea of the direction of it. Next little section is keep updating close them. So I've gone for a past, present, and future edition. We've got to assume and imagine that all of these are open right now, because otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, yeah.
So the three options I've given are Jaws, Tron, and the new test track.
Oh, that's difficult because I've seen like a little bit of concept art and I don't really know how good Test Track's going to be.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be pretty good because they wouldn't want to make the same mistake twice, would they? So they're going
You'd
to make.
like to think, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I am going to keep Jaws because I genuinely miss it a lot. And I'll update Tron and make it longer because I say that every time because
Yeah.
that's like, everyone says that's like their pet peeve that it's short. So I'll make it longer and I'll just scrap Test Track and start again, something different, something fresh.
Yeah. Just sack it off.
Yeah, in the
We don't
bin.
need. Yeah.
What about
No,
you? What round would you do it?
to be honest with you, I'll go exactly the same. Yeah, Jaws. I mean, obviously, if I had a chance to bring it back, means obviously it's the keep. So keep Jaws. I'd update Tron, and I tell you what, like, yes, the length of it is a factor. The other factor for me is the story in that ride is non-existent.
I agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and like it's such a shame because I feel like if the story on it was just a tiny bit stronger, actually the ride would hit really well.
Yeah.
It's a really good coaster. So like I honestly I don't want to bash it because it is really good. It looks stunning. I like Tron genuinely. I think it's a really really good ride. I genuinely I think it is a spot on roller coaster. It looks great, but like the story on
I was
it.
gonna say it feels great too, but I feel like that's a weird thing to say. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's unique. It's a unique setup. It's a really cool ride system. I just kind of wish that it had a bit more backstory and like even have a pre-show. Have a
Yeah.
pre-show and just kind of give us an outline of what is actually meant to be going on.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
there's this kind of little storyline where it's saying that you're basically going to compete to go through these light rings or whatever it is, and I'm pretty sure they say you got to go through 8 rings and you go through 6, which really confuses me.
I didn't ever notice that before. I
I
did
could
notice
be
the weird
wrong.
lady though. She freaks me out. Like
Yeah,
genuinely.
yeah. But anyway, sorry, that'll be my
Yeah.
update. And then yeah, I suppose in this example, test track. Sorry, but that gets closed as well before it's even open.
Bye,
So,
Test Track.
and then to round off every episode, I do 5 questions, but we're going to mix the questions up because you've done the original 5 questions before. So, first question. So, if you go into a Walmart, what is the first thing that goes in your trolley?
Java chip Oreos because they're delicious. And Gatorade as well. Because Gatorade is also delicious.
Okay. The Java chip, I've never had them. Like top tier above any of the others.
Yeah, genuinely so good. I'm actually not that much of a fan of Oreos, which is strange. But like anything coffee flavor, I'm down for. Like I love coffee with my whole heart. And the Java chip, like because you have little chocolate chips in there as well. So it's like the
Nice.
cream is like coffee, and then you have like little chocolate chips, and honestly, they slap.
I'm I'm sold. I'm sold. And then
Yeah.
Gatorade. What flavour Gatorade are you getting?
Probably the zero blue one.
Yeah,
Because
classic.
it's lovely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely. And what about you? What's in your trolley?
First thing, oh, you put it on me. First, you did this a few days ago. I can't
See, I
remember.
told you it's difficult, isn't it? Literally.
What else did
Go
I
on,
go and pick
slap
up?
something in there. What is in there?
What else did I go and pick up? I tell you what, I can give you a really good answer.
Go on.
So, first thing in my trolley, and to be fair, I literally did this on this trip, as you would have already seen in the travel day video, which came out last Sunday. First thing is the like cookies, like the cookie sandwiches
Yeah.
off the recommendation of Tom. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those things are dangerous. They're
Oh,
like they are just disgustingly good. Like,
I was jealous when I saw. I was like, "Tam, I need those. They look so good."
yeah, like I'm he is absolutely spot on because they are so good. And you know what, they I think they do like a carrot cake one, a birthday cake one, and then like a chocolate chip one. I
Yeah.
got the chocolate chip. I kind of want to try the other ones as well.
Oh yeah, you gotta go all in. Try them
Yeah.
all.
So that's the first thing in my trolley. Easy. Yeah.
Nice.
All day long.
Drink.
Drink. I would go a ghost.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Be a ghost for me. I would go for one of like the sour warheads ghosts. That would
Nice.
be a go-to for me. So next little question then. This should be pretty easy for you, I reckon.
Mhm.
Top place to eat off-site. Go.
Olive Garden or Cane's for sure. For
This is
sure.
totally not the. I thought you were going to say chicken guy.
No, but that's on site. That's in Disney Springs.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whenever I tell anyone, they're like, "Oh, that's literally in Disney Springs, though. That's Disney."
Yeah. Yeah. Fair shout. So Olive Garden or Cane's,
Yes.
if you had to pick one.
I don't know if I can. Um, Olive Garden is incredible because of the breadsticks.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, you can have the breadsticks and nothing else.
Yeah.
But
Quite happily. Yeah.
because you didn't have Cane's, did you, this trip? But
No.
the chicken burger is insane, and everyone always goes there and says, "Oh, it's average," just because they had like the little chicken tender things. And I'm like, the burger is elite. You need to try the burger. I haven't tried anything else from there, to be fair, but it's just amazing. It's something else.
Cool. Nice. Good couple of shouts. I like it. What have you got like a go-to dish in Olive Garden?
Probably just like spag bowl, really boring.
That
But
is super boring.
it is really boring, but still incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid I can't eat cheese, can I? And it's literally like
No.
cheese. It's cheese
Very
milk.
true. Very,
Yeah.
very true. Yeah. To be fair, we have had this conversation before, and I'm like, yeah, but this is the best thing ever. And you're like, yeah, but it's got cheese in it. And then I'm like, yeah, what about this? It's got cheese in it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I
Literally.
would be the
And I was
world's
listening
worst.
to your pod this morning say about like no vegetarian options as well.
Yeah.
Because like, you said about the spring rolls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, both the spring rolls also have cheese in. Like they don't
Yeah.
think about anyone else. They just need to do better.
Yeah.
It's like they can make a hamburger one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's coming into our park, as everyone would have heard from the Free Caballeros episode.
Exactly.
Hamburger spring rolls are on the menu. So, next to one, if there was any ride or area you could retheme to something else in any of the parks in Orlando, what would you retheme and what to?
Going completely against what we just said, but I would put probably Shiz or Emerald City in like the Dr. Zeus area.
Nice.
Genuinely, like I think that is a big enough area for it as well.
Oh, big time. Why would you put it in? I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, why would you put it in IOA over Studios?
Because I would put either Emerald City or Shiz in Studios.
Yeah.
So I'd put like one in one and one in the other.
Nice. So then you got a bit like a Diagon Alley and a Hogsmeade situation.
Exactly. You need it in both parks.
Yeah, cool. I love it. And got a couple more questions. We've got top must do for your next trip. So this could be food, ride, it can be a resort, you name it. Top thing to do.
I think my top thing to do for next trip is to, I was going to say go to Cairns again, but I don't think that's suitable.
No, I mean, to be fair, if that's your top must do.
I am desperate to go back. No, we all know, let's be serious, let's be real. My top must do for this trip is to go on Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
That is my top. And Hagrid's as well, because I haven't been on Hagrid's with Carol Ann. So I think she's going to absolutely love it. She's going to adore it. So yeah, just to go to Universal with my dad and Carol Ann, really. That's like my must-dos for this trip. Yeah, buzzing for it.
Amazing. Very excited for you. Very excited. I can't wait for you to go on Velocicoaster. I really can't
wait.
Yeah. Not too long. Not too long. And then it's going to
happen. And hopefully I can get twice in as well, because that'd be good.
Definitely. Get it done at night.
I will.
Sure. For me.
Yeah, I will. I really will.
Right. Final question then. If you could experience something for the first time again in Orlando, what would it be and why? And this can be anything. Literally any experience for the first time again.
Probably Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. Just that kind of walk down to Main Street, see the castle for the first time.
Yeah. Just I feel like nothing beats that feeling. It's a fairly boring answer, I think. But...
No, I think, to be fair, I mean that's a shout. Like, because like in terms of the most magical of moments that you can probably have in Orlando, seeing that castle and experiencing that park for the very first time, is unrivaled. But also, like, how cool would it be to have experienced it like now as well? Like, because obviously I appreciate like we were so lucky that we experienced it as children, but like, how cool would it feel to go and do that for the first time now? It'd be amazing.
Yeah, amazing. But we're going to get that feeling with Epic anyway, aren't we?
Yeah.
A new theme park in Orlando, like that's unheard of for us.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
Amazing. Absolutely can't wait. It's a good shout. I like it. Magic Kingdom. And to be fair, like what a park. Like what a lovely park. I absolutely loved going back to Magic Kingdom this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was top tier. And you'll see it on this week's vlog. So
can I ask you back though?
Of course you can. First, no, it's not first. If I could experience it for the first time, for me, it's so hard. But for me, it's a ride, and to be honest, it's probably Guardians, which I know is an answer a lot of people would give, but like, I have never laughed, smiled, felt so insanely happy to be on a ride as I did on Guardians. I mean, that is the one. Yeah. So yeah, definitely Guardians for me. Velocicoaster's like a close second, but
yeah,
that's
a good shout. I like your answer.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's a long one. But you know what? We knew that we were going to go off on tangents left, right, and centre. We knew that we were going to cover a lot of different topics. We were going to talk about past, present, future, and beyond that as well. So it has been so much fun. So thank you so much for coming back on the podcast, Jade.
Anytime.
So this was the episode with Jade from Timeforjade. What an absolutely fantastic episode. I know that we went on tangents left, right and centre, but that's what this episode was always going to be. It's always so much fun to talk to Jade, and genuinely, and I say this a lot, but she's such an amazing supporter of everyone in this community and really, really like kind of holds her own corner of it. It's absolutely amazing to see, and the support that she gives everyone is a different level. So please do go and check out Jade's Instagram. Go and show her some love. I enjoyed this one so much, and I hope you all did too. So once again, thank you all so much for listening, and I will speak to you all in the next one.